What is up, guys? Lord Respawn here. Welcome to the video. So in this video, we are talking about how to build a balanced team based on the starter that you choose in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So these teams are going to be based on Pokemon that you can find relatively earlier in the game. A lot of them are found very early in the game, with a few exceptions, but most of these you can find within the first few gyms. But definitely if you use one of these teams, based on your starter, you will be able to have a well-balanced team that you can go and be pretty confident that you're going to do well against all the different gym types throughout the game and any trainers that you might stumble upon. So without further ado, we are going to go through each starter and all 6 total Pokemon that are going to be balanced well together for each starter. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this. Again, this is not like competitive. This is just for if you're wondering, a group of Pokemon that fit well together for the story of the game. Not so much competitive. This video is for you. So let's go ahead. We're starting off with Grookey. So for Grookey, obviously you guys know Grookey is a grass type Pokemon. So we're gonna want to make sure that none of the other Pokemon in here are grass type. So from going left to right and then down, we've got Grookey. Obviously, alongside we're going to have Rookidee. And so what he has and what he brings to the table is going to be that flying type. Definitely an important type throughout the game. It's just you're going to want to have a flying type. So Rookidee evolves into Rookidee evolves into Corviknight, and Corviknight is one of the most powerful Pokemon in the game. You will use it in nearly every single gym, and then you'll use it also throughout the Champions Cup and so on. So you're going to want Rookidee / Corviknight in your group. It's just honestly one of the most powerful Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Up next, we've got Sizzlipede, and again, another very strong Pokemon. This is going to be your fire type, so obviously we have Grookey, so we needed a fire type in our team. It's going to be really good against that ice type, and as well as some grass type Pokemon that we do find. Fire will help you in the Champions Cup, so be aware you're going to want some sort of fire on your team. Also, it is part bug type, so you can have a bug move in there, which is always nice. Mudbray, It adds that ground factor to the game. Very strong against rock type. So if you have Pokemon Sword, Mudbray is going to be very, very helpful because its ground type moves are going to be super, super helpful against rock type Pokemon. Reason why I say that, Sword, there is a rock gym. So that's why that is kind of relevant. So next up, we've got Yamper. Yamper is one, along with Corviknight, that I used on my personal team. And Yamper is just one of those Pokemon that, honestly, when you get to Boltund, is an extremely powerful Pokemon. And I didn't actually include Yamper in all the different types that I'm going to show you, but Yamper, if you want an electric type Pokemon, this is probably the way to go. Very helpful against Nessa's gym and other water trainers that you might face in the future. And then, of course, we need a water type, so we've got Choodle. And you guys know how that goes. It's good against fire type. It's good against ground moves. Always a positive to have some sort of water type, in your team. So that's gonna be your Grookey team. Next up, we got Scorbunny. Went with a little bit different look for Scorbunny, but as you can see, we've got the Corviknight line again on the far right. So I don't really have to go and talk about why that's awesome. I highly, highly recommend Corviknight no matter who you choose. But going into this, so with Gossifleur, his grass type is going to be super effective against ground type. Kind of the same reason why you would choose Grookey. I'm not the biggest grass type fan personally, but I know a lot of people do use him or use that type of Pokemon. So if you're looking for a grass type that isn't Grookey, Gossifleur is the way to go. And then, headed down to Klink. So it's pretty good against rock type. moves. So, its steel, its nature of being a steel type Pokemon is going to be super good against rock type Pokemon. So it really, it's a switch from the ground type. And if you kind of want to change up your team and don't want to use Mudbray, Klink is a good option. Just something to kind of think about. And then also, I added Woobat on here. It is part flying, but the main thing here for Woobat, you might use one flying move, but really the Sidekick is a way to go with him. And there's a lot of different Sidekick, but I decided to go 2 flying in this particular setup. So Sidekick, super, super helpful against fighting type Pokemon, and you will face quite a few just throughout your journey. Also can be good, in some of the other gyms. I won't spoil them too much, but you're going to want some kind of Sidekick, at least Sidekick moves in your team. And the last one, we've got Tyrogue, and he is going to be really good. So Tyrogue is going to be very helpful with its fighting type moves, and it's going to be super effective against Ice, Rock, and Dark type. So you're going to face a lot of Dark type Pokemon in your journey. So you're going to want some sort of fighting capable Pokemon, whether it is a full fighting Pokemon or just a few fighting moves. I highly recommend having some Pokemon that has fighting capabilities. And next up, and finally, we've got a Sobble team. This is not the personal squad that I use, but it is a pretty strong early team to use if you're kind of looking for a full 6 squad. So we've got Sobble, obviously that hits the water. For our flying type, again, we've got that Corviknight feature. And then I threw in a bug type Pokemon. It's good against grass type, which can be good, early on in the game. You might want to switch out Blipbug with a fire type, like a full fire type Pokemon, maybe a Sizzlipede later on, but early on in the game you can catch this almost right from the beginning. So early on, if you want to fill your 6, I think that he is a good option. Next up, we've got Machop, another that's that full fighting type Pokemon, super effective against Ice, Rock, and Dark. So having a fighting type Pokemon on your team, I think, is extremely key to being successful in Sword and Shield. And then next up, we kind of mixed it up a little bit. So we have a Stunky. And what Stunky's going to do is it's immune to Sidekick type Pokemon. And its Dark type moves are going to be super effective against Sidekick. So when you're facing Sidekick Pokemon, you are going to be able to absolutely dominate them with Stunky. So there are quite a few times when you're going to face Sidekick, and Stunky is an option to kind of knock those Pokemon out, if you will, almost in one shot. So highly, highly recommend him. Maybe not for the Champions Cup, but definitely throughout the game, he can be very, very helpful. And then last up, we've got Drillbird, ground-type Pokemon, and it's a little bit different than normal ground-type Pokemon that maybe I've shown or maybe that you think of right off the bat. We talked about Mudbray, but Drillbur, is going to really help out against those electric-type Pokemon, and there are quite a few of them that you will face, and ground-type, I think, is one of those that can really, really help throughout the game. So we'll just run through these real quick just so you can take a look at it again. Here's the Grookey squad. Again, these are early game teams. You don't really need to take these all the way through, but this should help you get started with an initial team. There's Scorbunny, and then we've got Sobble. So hopefully this video helped you out, guys. Very high level how to put a team together. You want to make sure it's balanced. You want to make sure you don't have too many of one type on your team. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully this helps you get your journey started. And for more Pokemon Sword and Shield content, keep it right here, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later!